So let me see if I understand this correctly. You want to stop the filibuster, which is going to need 60 votes to pass any laws in the Senate. So you could pass voter reform and federalize voting so you can stop needing voter identification, signature verification, and start ballot harvesting. Are you out of your freaking minds? How stupid do you think we are? First of all, voter ID, how is that racist? How is that discriminatory? All right? Doesn't matter if you're super rich or super poor, you can get an ID if you want one. You don't even have to pay for it. It's free. All you got to do is go down. Super rich, you go down, you get your ID. If you're super poor, it's paid for you. You just have to go down, get your picture taken, put it on an ID. Doesn't matter if you drive or not, you get an ID. All right? It's very simple. Why isn't it racist to need an ID to get welfare, to get food stamps? Why isn't it racist to need an ID to drive? Huh? Let's make that racist too. Let's make that discrimination. You need an ID to drive. Why? Why do you need an ID to drive? If you don't need an ID to vote, why do you need an ID to drive? Why do we need an ID at all? Really, if I want to go down and open up a bank account, I need an ID. If I want to open up one of them little credit card things to where my money gets put on my card, I need an ID. I need an ID. Period. Everybody can get an ID. How is that discrimination? It's not. It's not discrimination. It's a way to turn the country against each other. It's a way for you to pass a law that's going to allow you to harvest ballots so dead people can vote. That's all I can see. Dead people, people that normally wouldn't vote, you go and collect their ballot, and you don't want signature verification. So I can go up and down my neighbor's mailbox when you mail that thing out and take them and all vote for the same thing and then send them in, and you'll have no verification as to how that happened or who did it. You get people voting two, three, four times. Why? Because they voted once, but then all these other ballots showed up in their name. And what the hell is this voter identification law stuff? Shouldn't this voter identification law be taken from the census? Huh? Not who voted 4 years ago. You don't know what's healthy consideration they're in. What is so hard about if somebody dies, you take them off the voter registration? You guys make hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can't afford $15 an hour for somebody to go through and check and make sure that the people on the voting registration are still alive? Huh? You can't make sure of that? You can't do that? I do agree with one thing. I think a felon who served their time and is out should be able to vote. That I agree with. And if it wasn't a violent crime, they should be able to own a gun too. How's that? Because it wasn't a violent crime. If you were in there for selling weed and you've been selling, you had a 5 year sentence and now you're out. Why can't you get a gun? Why can't you vote? You did your time. All right? Voter ID. Discrimination? My ass. And to those kids in Arizona that are on a hunger strike until the filibuster ends, well, let's see how long that lasts. Huh? Hunger strike? Stupid. I'm not against them kids. They don't know any better. That's what they've been taught. That's what their professors are teaching them over there in Arizona, where I just came from. What a damn shame. But my question is, where are their parents? Don't they understand? Can't they see what I see? I'm a high school freaking dropout, and I can see that this is a bunch of shit. This is a bunch of crap. That's all it is. Voter ID is racist. And you want to federalize it so you can have somebody go around and harvest ballots. That's all it is. You're so afraid that you're going to lose everything on the midterm because you've done nothing except destroy us. Green New Deal, Build Back Better bullshit. If you really wanted it to work, all you had to do, you had the right thing. You had a good thing. You could have given tax breaks to gas stations. All right, the people that own gas stations, the companies that own gas stations, whatever it is, 7-Eleven, Circle K, you could have given them all tax breaks to build a line of chargers along with their gas. Once that stuff was built, you didn't have to stop our energy production and kill our freaking country like you did. You didn't have to do that. You could have kept that going so that our gas prices could have still stayed at $2 and less a gallon. You didn't have, you stop it from us and then you tell the Middle East to produce more? How is that helping the climate? What's the difference if we do it here or they do it there? There's no freaking difference. Actually, there is a difference. We'll do it cleaner and safer than what they will. They don't care. So you should have given the tax exempt. Boom. Then what you turn around, now you have all these charges set up. Set up. Now, you get that done first. Then you turn around and you have Elon Musk, who I freaking love, by the way. I think he's great. You have him start building his line of cars. And you ask him nicely, sir, could you please build cars that are for poor, middle class, and rich like we have? We have all those different types of cars. Now, cars that poor people could afford, cars that rich people could afford, the whole 9 yards. Elon Musk would do that. He doesn't seem like such a jerk. I mean, here's a man who sold off his shares of stock so that he could pay taxes and tell Pocahontas to go to hell. Call her Nancy, which I thought was freaking wonderful. And then you get this whole line of cars out so that when the person's car is done or they're looking to buy a new one, they can get in with this. And then you can slowly start cutting back because we won't need as much. We start doing like you did with the solar. Let's get a little bit more people on board with the solar. Let's not just make it free, supposedly, which it never is. But let's have the people get tax breaks, big time tax incentives. And you know what a tax break is? When you file your taxes at the end of the year, you get a tax break. Well, you know what? Most of the people I know don't pay anything in taxes. All right? Most of the people I know get refunds from their families, and they own homes. They own homes. They own cars. They're not poor. But they don't make enough money with the deductions to have to pay tax. And if they do, it's very minimal. So this so-called tax break that you're given, who cares? I don't. At the end of the year, I don't have to pay taxes. So why do I care about getting a tax break? You're going to give me a tax break off my sales tax? Well, that I pay. That I can understand. But what does a tax break have to do for me? Nothing. It's just going to cost me money to put this stuff on my roof, make my roof 50 times heavier than what it is now, so that when the hurricanes come through, it collapses. And then you're going to send FEMA out, which will give me a loan. FEMA gives you a loan. They don't pay for anything. They pay the workers to fix your stuff, and then you pay it back to fix my roof. And 10 years down the line, all these panels that are on my roof are going to be bad, and I'm going to have to exchange them and pay again. Get your technology up. Make it accessible. Make it available. Make it cost effective for everyone, not just your little bubble world. And I'm not just talking to Democrats, I'm talking to Republicans too. The worst thing that's happening in this country is a Democrat and a Republican. We need more independents out there. We need more people that can think beyond party lines. All right? We need more people that think for us, that have lived in the world like we have. Not this nonsense that's going on out there. It cost me $92 to fill up the Suburban. that I need for my business. $92. Are you out of your mind? 2 years ago, it was costing me 50. Why? What's changed in the environment? Has the environment gotten better? Can you show me any stats? Can you show me any science that by doing this over the last 2 years, the environment got better? Not in the Middle East, not in Russia where they're opening new pipelines, definitely not in China and India because they're not stopping anything. They're increasing productions. Be smart. We're not all stupid. All right? We're not all stupid. Let's go, Brandon.